Okay, thanks again for coming. It's awfully quiet here, so just take some time to warm up. So yeah, thanks for coming. So today's talk is about how are you doing? So this is a very strange title, but fundamentally we're talking about what is counseling and how it can be of help, perhaps yourself or the people you're trying to reach out to. So before I start, maybe I'd like to introduce to you where I am from. So I'm from Catholic Family Life. So who is Catholic Family Life? So Catholic Family Life is a Catholic charity organization that we seek to form, empower, and restore family at all stages of development through education, formation, and counseling program. So it's quite a mouthful there, but basically we provide a whole suite of service that caters to the needs of the family, and I belong to the para counseling arm. Now, a little bit about myself. So I have gone through a master's in counseling and also some other trainings. And currently I'm a para-counselor with Community of Para-Counselors, and I head the training department over there. Now, just to check in a little bit on you, if you see your parish on the map, perhaps you just raise your hands. If you're from Holy Cross, Novenas, and Burns. Anyone from these churches on the map? Okay, good. Where are you from, sir? Holy Cross, yes. St. Anne's, okay, nice church. So, but for those rest of you, you're not from any of the parish from here, right? Good, okay, I'll look for you later. And I'll explain to you why some of the parishes are not in this map. Okay, so yeah, let me jump into the topic proper. So in this talk, I'm going to break it down into an acronym, O, U, and T. Observe, understand, then take steps. Observe. Now, how do you know your friends, family members need help? And what are some of the symptoms to watch out for? Understand. Now, what is counseling, and what can counseling do for them or for yourself? Take steps. How to offer support, and how to encourage them to seek professional help. In the last part, I'll do a little bit of marketing to share more of the services provided by CPC. You know, I love it that some of you are taking out the notes and writing notes. If I may be kind to you, later on, at the end of it, I will share with you a QR code that you can scan for a handout of all the material here. So today, I really hope you can not only absorb the material, but really catch the spirit behind what is counseling all about. Now, let's do a poll. So let's make a guess about how many % of the general population reported experiencing depression or anxiety symptoms during the 1 year since the pandemic started. So if you can just use your hand 0 to 100, make a guess, how many % of us experienced some sort of anxiety or depression during this past almost 2 years since the pandemic started? Anyone make a guess? 40%, 40%, 90%, okay. Any more guess? Okay, but let's do another poll. How many of us here, okay, by raising of hand, are perfectly fine during these 2 years? Who cares about pandemic? Doesn't affect me at all. Any one of us? Okay, so 100%. I think all of us need some help here. But according to a poll done, around 13% of us experience some sort of anxiety or depression during this time. Of course, these are the official definition, but I think some of us experience some sort of uneasiness, some sadness, some restrictions during this time. Which is why I feel that this topic is important, because even prior to this pandemic, you know, we're facing issues that potentially need and warrants for more help. And I think it's a function of the time we live in now, but I think we're seeing more and more teenage suicide. We're seeing reports of abuse surfacing. So which is why we are realizing the importance of this topic. Now, how do you know someone needs help? This is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the things that we know when people go through them. They may need some additional support, like unexpected events, transition in life, trauma. Now, some examples. Death of a pet, of a friend, family members. Heartbreaks. Break up boyfriend, break up your girlfriend, this is what we know. The world is temporarily closed, like what I experienced during this time. You can't go off to your mall, you can't go to a coffee shop, you can't go out in more than 5 people for food. Transition in life, should I take this job? Should I choose this school? Should I choose this guy or girl? Abuse. Unemployment. And of course, when you're moving, you know, to a new place, a new job. So, are we saying that if someone goes through these events in life, they need counseling, they need help? The answer is no. So really the key is to watch out for the symptoms of people who are going through all these events, that if the symptoms last beyond 3 to 6 months, then perhaps they need help. Again, all these are very obvious events. And it happens so that the world we live in, we are so connected online. If today after this talk, I go back and I see a comment online, I say, Andy, his talk is so boring and he looks funny up there. Now, nobody knows what happened, but I saw it. And potentially I'll be very affected by all these comments I have online. So, but nobody can say it. It's very real to me, but it's invisible to other people. So the key is to watch out for symptoms. Now, what are some of the symptoms you can watch out for? So very broadly, we categorize into verbal, emotional, and behavioral. Verbal, content of their speech. Now again, if I receive some comments online and say, blah, 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 Andy is boring. Now, if people ask me, look, how's your talk? How's your day? I may go like, man, it's a harsh crowd. They're so quiet, man. And I don't know why, but throughout the talk, they're so quiet, just looking at me. And afterwards, I got a comment online and they say, oh, Andy is so funny, he talks funny. And I may just say, okay, I may just stay silent. Emotional. Persistent change, fluctuation, or situation inappropriate mood. Now, you go to a birthday party, you see one guy sulking there. You go to a wedding, someone starts crying. Now, why? It's supposed to be a happy occasion, but perhaps the person is reminded of something else, or is going through some tough times. So despite it being a very happy event, the person is crying. Or conversely, you go to a funeral, you see someone laughing and smiling. So something is up, a flat mood. So regardless of what happened, the guy is flat, flat out. The world can burn, he can win the toto, but the guy is just simply flat emotionally. Behavior. Disruption to activities of daily living. I think this is very real to all of us. I'm sure you have experienced, you have a big exam coming up, you have an interview coming up and you lose sleep, or something happened to you and you just can't sleep regardless of what you do. And you have no appetite, and you start to perhaps even lose interest in the things that you always have enjoyed doing. So this is what we call anhedonia. So if in the past something interests you a lot, but something happened, and you find the person no longer engaged in the things he used to enjoy. Perhaps even he doesn't like hanging out with friends anymore. And of course, harmful activities and behavior. Now, if I were to give some example of this, I think you can think of some when someone starts to drink excessively, when you start to smoke a lot more, or you start to game a lot more. I'm not saying gaming in itself is bad, but if it's excessive, then something to watch out for. And of course, I think something very obvious is also a drop in performance, be it in school, be it at work. So again, these are the signs to watch out for. Again, are we saying that if someone goes through and displays all these signs, is there something wrong with them? I'm saying no. So really, the key is to watch out for the differences between them and the usual self. If you have a cheerful child coming home one day and suddenly all quiet and just go into the room, lock himself up, and he's not eating dinner, losing sleep, then we kind of get a sense of where the person is and what may be happening to him. Now, what should we do? Now, if you come back one day and say that, okay, this guy is displaying all these symptoms, he's talking funny, what support are available? Now, if I can propose, of course, all of us in the community are the first line of defense, but there may be a situation where they or us may need additional help. So if I can propose, I would like to propose counseling as one of the avenues that you can provide support for those of us in need. Now, before we start, let's take a poll again. What comes to your mind when you hear someone is going for counseling? So if one day your friend comes to you and says, "Look, I'm going for counseling," what is the first thing that comes to your mind? So better just pause a little bit and just take some response. Okay, this is going through some trouble there, okay? But do you see the person in a positive light or a more negative connotation? More negative, okay, let's try this. So on this negative, positive spectrum, so 0 being negative, there's something wrong with the guy, obviously, and 10 being a very positive, very neutral. Okay, it's good that the guy is going for counseling because he's going to get help. Let's take a poll. Again, 0 to 10, 0 being negative, 10 being positive. Now, if you hear someone going for counseling, where do you rate the person in terms of your own attitude towards that person? Perhaps 5-ish, 7, 10. Awesome. 5. Okay, I think we're somewhat neutral towards more positive end. Now, why is this important? I'll come back to this. But just keep in mind of your own perception and attitude towards this notion of counseling. Now, I'll jump into understanding what is counseling. Okay, but before we do that, let's understand what counseling is not. Now, what is not counseling? And this, I think I gathered this from my personal experience as a counselor for the last 5 years and some of the research we have done. So, what is counseling? So, counseling is not motivational speaking. You don't come into my counseling room and say, I tell you, look, life is good. I want you to awaken the giant within and go for what you dream of. If you can believe it, you can achieve it, yes. But that's not what we do. A judge, okay, I think very common, couple come in and say, look, I think my husband is wrong, and the wife said, look, the husband said, look, she's wrong. Okay, why do you be the judge of telling us who is right, who is wrong? Again, we don't do that. We don't tell you who's wrong, who's right. Fortune teller, okay. Mr. Counselor, I'm coming in, I'm seeing this guy, I'm not sure if I should see him. Mr. Counselor, I'm considering this job, do you think I should take it? How do you think the future will be like? I wish I know. Sadly, I don't. Advisor. So again, I'm thinking of doing this, doing that. Can you tell me what I should do? Now, we tend to refrain from telling people what to do, but what we do is we go through with them what they need to look at. Friend. So I talk on that. Now, why is a counselor not your friend? Okay, why is counselor not your friend? They are friendly people, no doubt. I'm a friendly person. But why is counselor not your friend? Now, if you think about it, when you talk to a friend, your friend would definitely care about you. Your friend would definitely want the best for you. But because your friend is so intertwined with your life, when they listen to you, when they give you advice, you'll be thinking of, look, if I tell them this, how would that person perceive me? Okay? If Mr. A tells me about Mr. C, and we're all common friends, how do you want me as a Mr. B to react when I see Mr. C then? So granted, a counselor generally is a friendly person, but we are not a friend in the sense that all our priority, all our concern is on you, and you're not expected in return to give that back to us. A genie in the bottle, so I think this is kind of related to the judge. Again, a couple comes in, my husband is wrong, my wife is wrong. Can you change my husband? Can you change my wife? A parent comes in with a child, look, my child is not performing good in school. Can you make him perform well in school? Okay. I would love to do so, but I can't, so I'm not a genie in the bottle. I don't have a magic wand to change people. So this is what is not counseling. Now, what is counseling then? I love this quote. Counseling is really a helping relationship that seeks to help people identify their own resources, and it's based on the power of and principle of empowerment. Now let us, sit with this phrase for a while. A helping relationship, own resources, principle of empowerment. Now, if you look at the picture on the bottom, on the left-hand side, really, when you come into my counseling room, there's no judgment. I really want the best for you. And like this picture where at some point in our life that it may look dark and unknown, but I say, hey, this is where we are now. Let's find out where we are. And let's really navigate together. And let's really work out where you want to go next. Okay? And on the picture on the right, you come in with things that is confusing. You come in with things that, entangle you probably. But hey, you know what, let's work things out. Let's sort things out. So let's bring clarity to the whole situation. Okay, I'd like to take a pause. If there's any question, please shout out. Okay, if not, there's a Q&A session at the end, so we can feel free to ask a question. So again, what is counseling? A helping relationship that help people to identify the resources and is based on the principle of empowerment. Now, so to elaborate on that, really counseling is a collaboration based on equality. So the counselor is not placed on a pedestal, the counselor is not a wise know-it-all, really, but we see the client as an expert. Now, why the expert? You are the one living your life. You are the one who knows yourself the best. You are the one who knows what you have done, what you can do, what you have not done. So really, you're the expert of your life. So what does the counselor bring to the table then? Now, the counselor is a skilled helper in this journey called life. As we navigate through life together, we bring to the table the knowledge that we have. We bring to the table the tools that can potentially help us to really navigate together. So resources comes from you, and you work to tap on those resources to get to where you want to go. Okay? Yeah, you all look very serious. But to me, this is the crux of counseling, because counseling is not someone helping someone. It's about someone journeying with someone. So that, to me, is the real essence of counseling. Of course, with that, I mentioned that counselor is not your friend. Why? Because partly we are bounded by this, what we call ethics and confidentiality. So whatever you share in the counseling room is private and confidential. I wouldn't gossip about you, even if I know you. And definitely I wouldn't share with anyone what you shared with me. Unless, of course, if you tell me you plan to be of harm to yourself or others, or are doing something illegal, then I'm obliged by law to share that and to report that to the authorities. And of course, I think the other limitation we must look at is if there is some psychiatric disorder or there's a lack of mental capacity, then that we have to address first before someone is suitable for counseling. Now, of course, what are some of the benefits of counseling? I would say this is a spectrum between emotional support when someone is grieving, when someone is going through a period of sadness, to more of dealing with some of the psychological issues. Okay, so we have stress, for example. I think that's a big thing of I'm very interested in. So when going through stress, a stressful period at work, you will face some of the normal tension in your body, and there'll be some thinking that you have that will make the situation worse for you. So now, for example, I'm standing here, and all of you are looking very interested in me. So I'm trying to figure out what is going through your mind. So imagine I see someone suddenly, pointing a finger at me and snickering at me, laughing at me. Now, what may be going through my mind? On one hand, I think, look, maybe they're making fun of me, commenting about me. And how would that make me feel? Okay? How would that make me feel as a speaker right now? Whereas if you are engaged and, looking at me and clapping, then I'll feel good, of course. But then again, what can I do then? So these are some of the things that we look at. Okay, so we have what we call the black and white thinking sometimes. If, only if when every of my audience is clapping and shouting and say, preach it, Andy, then it's a good speech. If I don't get that, that means that means I'm a bad speaker. But is it really true? So for some kids we see, if I don't get an A for all my subjects, then my mommy won't love me anymore. Now, is that true? Is it helpful? So these are the things that we look at. So with that, a lot of research has been done and is still ongoing to validate the efficacy of counseling. Now, what should we do? Knowing how counseling can be of help, how do we support them now? So as mentioned, I think really as a community, we're the first line of defense for anyone who may need help. So before that, this is something very interesting. So again, when you see someone feeling sad, feeling down, going through a tough time, as a friend, family members, you want to offer them support. And we find very often, despite our best intention, there are things we said that may not be that helpful. So I think let's explore what are some of the things that may not be so helpful. Judgmental mode. Everyone else is okay, what? I'm not sure about you, but how many of us have used this on people that comes to us for, when they tell us I have some problems, I'm facing this issue, it's a pandemic, I can't go out, I don't feel good. Okay, I think a very good audience here, so no one has used this. But have anyone used it on you before? So what if you can't go out for lunch or dinner? So what if you can go out with your friends? Everyone is okay, why are you so why are you so hard up about it? Good. Okay, all of you are very good friends then. Next. Motivational. Be strong, you can do it. Just tahan a bit more. I don't want to call it the CB and phase 2, A, B, C. Just endure a little bit more, you can do it. Be strong. Now, when someone tells me that, how would that make me feel? Be strong, you can do it. Everyone else is okay. Now, as a recipient of those comments, I may feel, okay, everyone else is okay, but I'm not. Okay? Be strong, you can do it. Other people are strong, but I can't do it. So what's wrong with me? Generic, yeah, life is beautiful, Smell the roses, take a walk, breathe deep. Now, I'm not saying these are no good, but there's a time and place for that. But if someone comes to you and for support, is this necessarily the most helpful? I really wonder. Demeaning, what's wrong with you? How come you're just deal with it, just endure this time, it'll be over soon. Life is beautiful. After this COVID, there's a silver lining in every cloud. Is that helpful to us? Expert mode, I know exactly what you are going through. Okay, you lost your job. I know exactly what you're going through. Okay, you have cancer. I had cancer. I know exactly what you're going through. Do we really know what the other person is going through? Standing here looking at all of us, you look perfectly fine. Can I just assume you're fine then? You look at me, I think I'm doing okay for this talk. Perhaps you have been in other talks before and you think, look, I know exactly how Andy is going through. I know how nervous he feels, but do you really know how nervous I am? Do you know that I'm sweating under my armpits? I don't think you know. But again, how helpful is it to say that, look, I know exactly what you're going through? Because the truth is, nobody knows exactly what the other person is going through. Advisor, this is what you should do. Well, I love this because, if someone comes to you and says, look, even as a counselor, I need advice. Can you tell me what to do then? You say, okay, sure, based on my infinite wisdom and knowledge, this is what you should do. I think it's all fine and good. Whatever you share, the person followed and good things come out of it. But just imagine, what if things goes wrong? What if someone comes to you and say, look, should I marry this person? And say, yeah, he looks fine, good looking, speaks well, reminds me of Andy, go for it. But things don't work out well. So what now? Will the person blame you? If things goes well, then the person will say, hey, look, Andy gave me some very good advice. Perhaps I'll go back to him again and again and again. So how many times do you think you will get lucky to give a good advice and things turn out well? So it places an unfair burden on yourself and an over-reliance of a friend on you. Okay, so now, again, let's, take a poll. What have you heard when you were down, but totally not helpful at all? When you go to a friend and say, look, bro, I feel down, man. You go to your family member, so mom, I failed my exam. You go to a friend, hey, I lost my job. Anything you've heard that will, belongs to one of this category and totally not helpful at all? Anyone? Maria? Why so? Okay, good, yeah. So why so negative, think positive? So what do you think it falls under? Why so negative? Why so negative? Demeaning, what's wrong with you? Why are you so negative? Be positive, life is beautiful, generic. Now, is that helpful? There's a time and place for that, yes, but when someone comes to you, is that really what they're looking for? Or they want you to listen to them, be there for them, give them support? Do they know that life is beautiful? I think they know. Do they know that they are being negative? I think they know. Well, they are going through a tough time, right? So they know everything you have to share, but is sharing those things at that point in time helpful for them? Or they need something else? What to say? What to do? Take them seriously, okay? Even if you don't understand or think it's serious. I think a lot of us during this pandemic, we lacked the chance, or we can't even go out for a meal of coffee. And I remember how my mom was struggling when she couldn't go out with her friends for just coffee at a coffee shop. I think to me that's probably not as important to me, but for her it's something very important. So we must take someone seriously, even if you don't think it's serious or you don't understand how so. Be present. Just be there and listen. If they want to talk, someone comes to you and says, look, I'm feeling down. Can you just be there for me? Can you be there with me? Are you going to force them and say, look, tell me what's going on, so I can help you, I can give you some advice? I think sometimes that's not what they need. They just want you to be there for them. Tend to their needs. I think we see this a lot when someone lost a family member, for example, okay, or they're really struggling with just coping with life, even to the point of buying food and even taking care of their children. So I think sometimes what they need are very practical help. I think it's good we go in and say we talk to you, we listen to you, but sometimes we need to tend to the physical needs. Self-care. I think this is important because if you want to tend to someone, you got to make sure you are full yourself before you can take care of someone. Now, so there's a whole suite of online resources that you can go to. So Singapore's Health Hub provide a very good website, and one of which is this interactive quiz that you can participate to really learn more of how you can offer support. So let's just run through this question. Mr. C, this spirit, has been looking unusually stressed of late. What should Mr. P ask him to encourage him to open up? With A, hi, Mr. C, how have you been feeling? Or B, hi, Mr. C, are you feeling okay? So let's take a poll. Who will go with A? Okay, A, thank you. Now, who will go for B? B, thank you. Now, I think both are good. Very good question. But sometimes you try to go for A. Mr. C, how have you been feeling? Why? I think this is what we call a open-ended question. So it really opens up more possibility to the range of answer that Mr. C is able to afford. If you go to C, if you take a B, hi, Mr. C, are you feeling okay? Yeah. Yes. And then what? So I need to illustrate that. I will show you a very quick video on how we can put into practice what you've learned so far. Okay?
Someone but not sure how to? What should I say? What if I make things worse? What if I say something wrong? Don't worry, we've got you. Let's learn how to be a better supporter for those we care for. I hope D is okay. Try to check in with someone if you notice a change in their mood, behavior, or circumstances. Let me catch up with him to see how he's doing. Whoa, my day is packed. Before the check-in, make sure you have enough time and are in the right headspace. Maybe tomorrow is a better idea. Hi, Dee. Is everything okay with you?
Yes.
It's better to ask questions that can't be answered with a yes or no. Let's try this again. Hi, Dee.
Hello.
How have you been?
So good to hear from you. I guess I am okay.
Sounds like something is bothering you. What's on your mind?
Well, where do I start? Things have been a little tough at work of late.
I see. Lend a listening ear. It may be good to hold out on giving advice or solutions.
You'll be fine. Stop worrying. There are others who have it worse. Be empathetic. Imposing our point of view will only leave them feeling undervalued. understand this must be tough on you.
Thank you, B. I really appreciate it.
Dee, why don't you take the evening off? Perhaps go for a walk? Encourage them to try out something to help them feel better.
Stay in touch and be there for them. Add a reminder to your calendar to reconnect with them. It was good to catch up today. I look forward to getting in touch again.
Yes, thank you, B.
Showing someone you're there for them begins with a hi. If you know someone who needs emotional or psychological support, encourage them to seek help.
Good. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video as much as I do. So yeah, next step. So now you know what is counseling and you know how to watch out for who may need some help. What is the next step we can do then? Perhaps there is a time and space where you encourage them to seek professional support. Now, how do we encourage someone to seek a professional support? Now, remember at the start of the talk, we ask, how do you view counseling? Do you view counseling as something negative or something positive, something normal? Our personal view towards counseling affects the receptivity of those in need. Now, imagine you go to someone and say, look, I think, you need help. Counseling are reserved for those who are crazy, but I think you fall into that category. I think you should go for them. Versus, look, I've heard about this talk about counseling. I think counseling can be of support to you. I've known of people who've gone for counseling, have seen great results. I've gone for counseling. Perhaps, just perhaps, you can consider that. So again, it's a very different vibe, and it really comes from how we see counseling as a service. Understanding. So understanding of our counseling will allow us to encourage others effectively. So really, what we're trying to do here as a community, as a nation, is to really raise awareness of mental wellness and the various services that we provide. How to encourage someone to go for counseling? I think we watched a video just now, we really learned how to give support. And then how do we really encourage people to go for counseling then? I had a very good question yesterday during the talk. There's a very fine line between pushing, between forcing someone to go for counseling versus encouraging them to go for it. Now, sometimes in our counseling session, we get people who are forced to go for counseling. And typically those are kids forced by their parents or spouses who are threatening divorce. And when they come in, they're very reluctant, understandably. And we can try our best to work with them, and eventually we find success, but it's tough. Now, on the other note, if you force someone to go for counseling, it's like forcing someone to love you. It may work, most of the time it's tough. How do you do that then? So really, we talk about our personal view, but what's next? You go to someone and say, look, D, it seems that you're going through a very tough time now. And I'd love to be there for you. I'd love to support you. And really, I want the best for you. Now, I know about counseling as a service that we can potentially look at. And here are some resources that I found online that I've learned about. Why don't we explore them together? So let's put the choice on Dee's hand. Let him make the choice. Let him help him to understand what benefits of counseling can be, and allow him and encourage him to make the choice. So if you ask me, I think that is one of the better ways to encourage someone to go for counseling. Now, be informed, okay? So now we know the benefits of counseling. What can counseling do for you? How can we reach out to people? Where can you refer someone to go for counseling? Okay, so again, back to where I'm from, community of paracounselor. So we started in 2006 under Catholic Family Life to provide pro bono counseling service to anyone who may need help. So if you recall the map that I showed you just now, so these are the parishes and CC that we have currently that we provide our counseling service. So if you don't see your parish in any of these names, just reach out to us. We'd love to work with you to see how we can extend our counseling support. So we have over 40 paracounselors serving in various locations in Singapore. So to touch on a little bit more, I think the timing-wise, we provide counseling service throughout the week from Monday to Saturday. We have it on on afternoons, nights, and morning sessions. And right now, because of the COVID situation, we're all doing online Zoom, 100%. So last point, all our counselors are professionally trained. If you recall my profile just now, so all of us have certification, and all of us goes through regular supervision and training to make sure they're proficient to support whoever clients that come through the door. So if you'd like to, look at how to book a free counseling session for yourself or perhaps your friend, you can feel free to take a picture of this slide. I'll just leave it here for 5 seconds. Well, don't worry, I'll flash this slide again later, and you'll get this in the handout, I believe. Okay. Now, so back to the topic. So remember, I started the topic with the acronym OUT: observe, understand, and take steps. And now you have gone through this talk, and you have a little bit more about counseling, and really, hopefully, caught the spirit of what counseling is about. So I hope with that, with the knowledge that you have, you can reach out to the people who may be in help of need. Okay, I think I have 45 more minutes. 1 minute, perfect, okay. So I'll be around, I can be outside, but is there any quick burning question that you have in your mind that you must get the answer today, or you can't sleep tonight? Okay, good, I think I've done a very good job then. Okay, the important slide. So if you want to recall some of the things we talk about, so please scan this QR code, take a picture of this. There's a website also. You can go to this website, this QR code, and download the handout of what we spoke about today. Okay. Okay. I think, okay. Okay, awkward silence. Okay, I'll just like to say a huge thank you. That's the end of my talk. I'll leave this up here, and I'll go back. Since you have a phone, I'll go back to the previous slides for where you can make a booking for counseling with CPC. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks. That's so nice of you.